Anytime you can get the best players in the world to have these expressions on their face, Andy Reid, you see, usually it's from good defensive coaching, and that's certainly what happened in this game with the Philadelphia Eagles. Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator who was one of the best to ever do it, I thought was really good in this game. I mean, amazing in this game. And, whole Eagles defense in general was fantastic. But let's talk about what they did so well to really shut down Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's really what happened. Again, this was his stat line before the, I don't want to say garbage time, but they were down 34-0 when they finally got things going. He started at 50% completion percentage, about 3 yards per attempt, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It was tough. But I want to start off with a small play, because I actually think that is where this game was won for the Eagles defense. We'll talk about the big plays too, and that helps. But for the Chiefs, what they had been so good at this season is these types of plays. People talk about the Chiefs as though they're all defense. Their offense performed in terms of points per drive around just as good as their defense did this year. In terms of placement in the league, usually what they did was they had long drives. Plays like this, where it's going to be Kelsey's running up. It's actually a pick play. He was over a yard past the line of scrimmage. Should have been called, but that's besides the point. See, it's just a little pick play where you then have Noah Gray go kind of in a gap in coverage towards the bottom of the screen. This isn't supposed to go for 90 yards or anything like that. You're just trying to get 5 yards, move the ball down the field, get off the, they're currently at their own 2-yard line. That's not good. But you see when Mahomes takes the snap, again, you see why this works, right? Quinyon Mitchell is kind of off because that's just the way this works with zone coverage. Your goal is to take away a different player, which they have successfully done with the pick, which again, feels to me like it's past 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, but okay, it's close enough, I guess, is what the refs rule. But watch as Quinyon Mitchell rushes in and just makes that immediate tackle. They were just ready for these plays. The Chiefs only get 1 or 2 yards on this play, and that's not what they want. And while this doesn't seem like that big of a deal, is really that much better having it being 2nd down and 8 instead of 2nd and 5? Yes, it is, because it forces the Chiefs into obvious passing situations, which the Eagles were able to thrive on. This one's another example of a little thing, so it's going to be a running play, and you see how they have this exotic rushing look, which is what the Chiefs do, is they get so creative. Andy Reid's in his lab cooking up plays, and we saw against Buffalo, he was able to really dial up some great rushes. On this play, you see while Smith-Schuster is doing all this kind of crazy stuff, it's actually going to end up being a pretty traditional handoff. That's what they're going to do, just give it to Pacheco and run towards the offense's left, but a lot of times these fakes can fool the defense. Here, though, again, I mean, the Eagles just aren't fooled at all on that play. Everyone just understood their gap assignment, right? If it was a handoff to Smith-Schuster, they know they have teammates over there to make the play. It's trusting your team. Run defense is completely about being a team, being a good team, and that's what they were able to do. Because then they were able to get to these situations, the obvious passing situations. You stop them on, a 1st down and 2nd down, get to a 3rd down and 9, and the Chiefs haven't been great in obvious passing situations all year. They've been so good on 1st and 2nd down, and they've actually had really good numbers on 3rd down, but it's because usually it's like 3rd down and 3, not 3rd down and 9. 3rd down and 9s against good teams, they've often struggled. Here, the Eagles are playing man coverage, which they don't do a ton of, but that's what they're going to do here. Watch how, when Mahomes takes the snap, you see right now, nobody's getting open. And this is always a big part of the, we talk about the pressure and the consistent pressure and the sacks and all that. Part of it, though, is if Mahomes doesn't have somewhere to go with the football, he's not one to just throw it away, right? In fact, he never does that. He's going to hold on to the ball and then try to make something happen. Gets rid of the ball quickly if there's something open, holds on to the ball if nothing's open. If nothing's open, you can get him to hold on to the ball. So on this one, now Mahomes he scrambles out, tries to make something happen, and honestly, does a pretty good job. But one of the other things the Eagles defensive line did so well was not allowing Mahomes to get outside the pocket too much, not allow him to scramble around. They were able to contain him for the most part. Here, he has to throw a wall under pressure and nearly throws a pick right there. That's kind of one that got overlooked, but I mean, he could have had 3 interceptions in this game. He did have 3 turnovers. But again, this is what the Eagles did so well. Forced them into obvious passing situations and then covered downfield and also rushed the passer really well. Only so much Mahomes is going to do, and he even made mistakes. And then this one was another, I think, really important play in what the Eagles were able to do. And this isn't really an X's and O's thing. It's kind of just like a pay attention to what you're doing thing, where obviously What do we talk about with Mahomes as kind of one of his biggest strengths? It's his playmaking, right? When the play breaks down, he's able to still make something happen. When this play begins, it's again a 3rd down and 9. He takes a snap right here, has a mostly clean pocket, but he's still trying to escape it to see if he can make something else happen. Again, he likes to do that. He's comfortable in those situations. Some people only do this if they have to. He'll choose to run outside the pocket. However, on this play, the Eagles' defensive line did such a good job of just, again, playing run defense, essentially. Looking where you're at, seeing that if Mahomes scrambles out in your area, then now you got to play run defense, run out and make a play. As you see, that's what Sweat does, and while he didn't actually bring him down, it was a different Eagles player who did. It's, again, defensive linemen paying attention, knowing how to get to him, and ultimately getting a sack on that play. So then they get the stop, and while usually Mahomes can get outside the pocket and convert, Mahomes just wasn't able to do that too much in this game, and a huge part of it was because of this defensive line not letting him outside the pocket. And then also like something like this, where it's going to be a huge play. I mean, well, okay, it's 27-0. I don't know if we call it a huge play, but like this was I felt like the dagger. Well, you could argue it was earlier, but this stop on 4th down and 5 followed up by a long touchdown to make it 34-0. You could definitely say this was the dagger. You see the concept on the screen though. Again, this is one of those plays the Chiefs have done just a really good job of converting consistently this season on, where you have a receiver run a route trying to hold a Philadelphia player in that area. You then have Hopkins run towards the sideline. He's the one they want to throw to. When this play begins, so it's Avonte Maddox who's, again, just reading the coverage, right? Or I should say reading the concept that the Chiefs are doing, knowing where the soft spot is in his area, and knowing, okay, there's a good chance that if this play is run, there's going to be a pass towards the sideline. That's where I can be beat. So he's just kind of understanding where he has to be, knowing how far he can get over and still make a play. Mahomes makes that throw anyway, and Maddox is able to make a nice play. It's a great defensive play, but what I love about that play from Maddox, not just the being able to go over and get the ball, but knowing where you have to be, knowing where you need to be in position to make a play, and that's really what the Eagles did so consistently, was they were constantly in position, whether it was the running game, making sure that they understand their gap assignment, or whether it was the passing game, understanding where exactly they have to be to knock the ball away, and they were able to do that consistently. So for Fangio, I mean, like the X's and O's were definitely a part of it, but honestly, a lot of it was just kind of understanding the situation, right? Knowing where you have to be and being able to make the right plays, and that does come down to coaching, making sure your guys are in position and not getting fooled. Which, of course, means you have to credit these players. And honestly, I think one thing you got to credit Fangio as well, which I haven't mentioned, is they never blitzed. I mean, he just trusted his guys in coverage to say, hey, no, like we're good at this. We can make this work. Let's not blitz. This is working. Why mess anything up? Sometimes the simple stuff is the correct answer, and it was in this game. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And, of course, as always, thanks for watching.